All right. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining. My name is Samaya Handy, and I am the Small Business Manager here at San Francisco Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for attending today's Small Business Help Desk. The Small Business Help Desk is an ongoing series that we will host every other month that discusses different topics that we feel are vital to the growth, support, and success to the small business community. Today's topic is hands-on support, navigating the ecosystem of entrepreneurial resources. We're happy to have Melanie Nooney from Alliance for Community Development. And I want to also give a special thank you to our Small Business Help Desk sponsor, Redwood Credit Union. After the presentation, there will be time for a live Q&A. If you have any questions at all during the program, please feel free to place them in the chat. Also, please note that this webinar will be recorded and uploaded to the SF Chambers YouTube channel. With that said, I'd like to introduce our speaker for today, Melanie Nooney. Melanie is the Director of Programs at Alliance for Community Development. She manages entrepreneur navigation services and has worked with hundreds of entrepreneurs, supporting them to achieve their goals. In 2021 alone, her team assisted entrepreneurs to obtain over $1 million in relief funding capital. Melanie also manages the data, systems, and evaluation of Bay Area entrepreneur program to ensure that there are clear and strong outcomes to demonstrate the positive Bay Area entrepreneurship ecosystem. Well, good morning, Melanie, and I'm glad to have you here today. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Thank you, Samaya, for that wonderful introduction. Good morning, everyone. It's bright and early. Thank you for joining. I'm going to share my screen here and talk about the Alliance for Community Development. Well, yeah, as Samaya said, drop any questions in the chat. I'd love to just hear, what business you are and name of your business, or if you're from an organization. And if you're kind of early stage, later stage, would be nice to know so I can kind of tailor some of the commentary there. So let's go on to the next slide here. It's going to be the agenda. Okay, great. So yeah, what is the Alliance for Community Development? I know the name sounds a little vague. It's like, Alliance for Community Development. Okay, so we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about who we are, what kind of support we offer, why we do this work, and talk about our impact, especially over the last couple of years since COVID. I mean, a lot of our organizations have been, business support organizations have been in the trenches with businesses, and just made some major impact over the last couple of years. And then we'll talk about some tools to take home, and also want to talk about some of the stories, the client profiles, because I know those stories really stick with folks and really highlight and demonstrate the work that we do. Okay. So next slide is just about our team. Who are we? Naima McQueen is our executive director. She's can be here with us today. Director of programs, and Julia McCarter is our communications manager, who's also couldn't be with us today. But we also have Catherine Stubbs, our program coordinator, and Alex Pineda, a program coordinator. They're online today. Akira is also online today. He's our program assistant. And our team is just kind of the team that is just roll your sleeves up, get in the trenches with folks. We value empathy and really listening and supporting entrepreneurs in any way that we can. So that is us. So the Alliance for Community Development is a Bay Area or nonprofit, and we're focused on increasing access to capital and support for local underrepresented entrepreneurs. And we achieve that through our mission. We achieve our mission through these points here: our capstone navigation program, our technical assistance for funding opportunities, our annual Bay Area Capital Connections Conference, which is usually in October. And it's a great time for you to network and get to know folks in the ecosystem, and learn and understand what all the resources that are out there. And then we also have our Good Money Guide publication, which I will talk more about. Next slide. So the problem. Now, I know that, as entrepreneurs, you're overwhelmed with so much information to flesh through, and you're trying to get help. And as you're trying to get help, it's just an overload. It's like probably drinking through a fire hose of information. Some of it's free, some of it's paid services, and you're just trying to get a sense of like, well, one, who can I trust? Am I going to get, what I'm paying for? Or if it's free, is it going to be worth my time, right? To kind of jump through all the hoops and, try to get the free service, right? And then with COVID hitting, there was just so many like one little off opportunities. There was the relief funding stuff coming out. There was like a grant here, grant there, grant there. So you're like trying to assess through all this stuff. So I definitely know it firsthand, because that's what our role is to do that, support you in that. And so I know firsthand how it feels. It's overwhelming. So yeah, that is a huge problem for entrepreneurs. Also, the folks that aren't necessarily looking for these resources have that social capital. They have friends or family who are professionals in this area and who do that work for them for free or at a reduced cost. And so that's really where we can come in too, as far as connecting you and making those connections and having that network of folks that are really going to be supportive of you and your business, and not just kind of doing their thing and kind of, doing the bare minimum. You really need that sort of insight to the process, right? So solution here is our support, which is free individualized support to clarify your business goals, to help you track your progress. We offer continuous support. So that means it's not like things just end at the end of the program. It's like there's no end date to the program. It's ongoing support over years, and this is a free service that we offer. It's almost kind of like you don't have any reason not to sign up with us and get connected. And basically, since we supplement your team, I say we join the team. We are a part of your business team, making things happen, providing connections, getting in the trenches with you. Okay, so let me break it down even further here. So with navigation, we have our general navigation, which is about sort of your general business development goals. So we help you work through those, tackle your goals. We have the capital navigation. Phase one of that is making sure you're capital ready, right? So there's 8 documents and steps that you need to get through, and we help you find the resources for those. And then also finding out how much funds you need, navigating that, what you need the funds for, and where you're going to get the funds, and the type of funds that you're looking for. Tech navigation is something we're just piloting out, and folks are just getting overwhelmed with all the different software and whatnot, and so they need some recommendations on navigating that. So that's been, I think, is going to be a great resource for folks. Rapid response navigation is just carryover from like COVID navigation, when folks are in crisis mode. And need that sort of rapid support. It's like, I can't fill out a long intake form right now. I can't make payroll, So yeah, call us with those kind of issues. That's what we're here for. One person, wasn't COVID related, but they're a new business starting out, and they're the client that they're working with, had that sort of 60-day window to pay their invoice, and the business owner had an immediate cash flow issue and was just trying to figure out how to navigate that. So those are kind of the things that you can reach out to us, and we'll be there right there with you. in-depth navigation. This is really more funding specific type of support that we do. It's like grant funded or contract funded, and it tends to be around like a cohort of folks, and there's maybe some specific goals or specific areas like zip codes or whatnot that we're working with. And we just actually wrapped up our first pilot in this area, the POC Small Business Network, which was based in East Oakland. We partnered with Green Landing Institute and also with Optima Business Bootcamp. And we had about 80% of the folks who went through that program say, hey, this is a great service. I want to continue on with you all. You know, one is free. You know, so like you don't have any reason not to continue on, but it's just like that extra guidance and somebody to call. So yes, just, okay, thank you for dropping the link in the chat there. And we'll kind of loop back as well as like how to get started working with us. But that's kind of what we're doing with navigation. And we're always looking for partners around providing those navigation services, whether you want to contract with us or apply for a grant with us. If you're a part of an organization, we would love to talk more with you. So please feel free to reach out on that front. And then technical assistance. So like I mentioned, that capital readiness phase. So one thing that's unique about us is that you're not going to just say, here, we're not going to say, here, go to the accountant. If you need support getting through that work with an accountant, yeah, we will go through to the meeting with you. We'll go to the funder meeting with you, kind of help you get organized with all the information that is just flowing at your way. And I know a lot of entrepreneurs, they're solo entrepreneurs. You don't have a team of people to help you through this. But yes, and I've been on other projects, and sometimes you just need some kind of like a quarterback, really. And so I'm getting into the sports mode here. You really need someone that's kind of like, okay, here's this, here's that, calling the shots and saying, hey, this is where we need to move with this. Don't forget about that. So getting you through those 8 documents, your profit and loss statements, your balance statements, your forecast, getting all that stuff together. Talking to the experts, getting the advice that you need at the right time so that we can do that warm handoff. And so some folks we can refer to programs that help you do that in a program format. And some folks are not ready for programs, or they're not in the mode where they can take the time to go do the homework and stuff for a program, a very structured program. Some folks are ready for that, and we'll refer you to that. If you need more hands-on support and technical assistance, this is what we offer. And I think it's a great feeling to feel like you kind of have like a family member who's supporting you, someone that's not like trying to get some money from you or get something from you. So that's just, I think it's a phenomenal level of support that we're adding. I did want to just double check real quick. Was there a question, or well, I think we'll have time for questions at the end, but please feel free to drop it in the chat. Okay, yes, great. So just the other few points under technical assistance. Oops, sorry. So relief funding support, that's an ongoing thing, with COVID that's just been like we said, a fire hose of information. And so we were working with Cameo and provided the California Relief Grant support. We helped with the application. So that's where the application support comes in. But also we have been keeping track of these grants. And with our CRM database, we have the industry, we have, some of the demographics. That's why we do ask you that in the intake form. And so as soon as we see something, retail, African-American, brick and mortar, we're able to send that out to you and say, hey, we understand that you would be a fit for this grant. and we, remind you, it's like, hey, did you get on that yet? So that's the kind of support that we can offer ongoing. So, regardless of if you're having, okay, sorry, I just see a question here. Is it for people all over the Bay Area and SF who qualifies for the program? Okay, it is Bay Area, all 9 counties. So I will address any more questions at the end of this particular presentation. But yes, so that's really what the type of support that we can offer with grant management. So in getting into the specifics of the navigation, we have our 1 month, our 3 month and 6 month check-in. We can meet more frequently. And like I said, we can customize it to what you need. Another sort of avenue is 3 30-minute meetings monthly or every 2 weeks, if that's helpful. Sometimes like a 15-minute check-in or a text message is all we need to do to kind of make sure, hey, is everything on track to what we said? So in the navigation session, we focus in on that 6-month sort of goals. We talk about some of the longer term 1 year, 3 year goals, but focusing in on that 6 months on the personalized roadmap. So we track the goals, we match the goals to the resources, and we put together 3 top resources. We look at the cost as a factor, accessibility, the style, format, and then the time commitment. And we know that folks are often, looking for free resources, but there may be some additional expertise that you're maybe willing to pay for at this time in your business, and you're ready to kind of make that commitment. And so helping you flesh through what's the value of some of these programs. And the accessibility, understanding, like, we have most things are online now, but and as things open back up, you have, trying to understand if this location for this workshop is going to work for you. You might have to travel at night, and just public transportation, all these different things will help you kind of factor all of that in. The style, the format, do you want that structure? Do you want the more customized approach? How much time do you have to work on homework and things like that? So we help you work through all of that. And then it's a living shared document, so for notes. So a lot of times what I've come across is that folks have, heard about different resources and maybe checked into them and found they were eligible or whatnot. So we can keep track of that stuff in here, so that a year from now, that, oh, Start Small, Think Big is probably a great resource for me, but I wasn't eligible for this reason or whatever. And so we will have all of that in our notes, and we can bring it up and say, hey, actually you're eligible now. Let's see if we can get an application in and get started. So that's what we offer in our sort of ongoing personalized roadmap and navigation. So what has our impact been? Like I said, 2021 was a phenomenal year. 378 businesses that we supported directly. A lot of those were through the California Relief Grant, and that the capital that was obtained was through the California Relief Grant. We were able to support folks with the application, getting stuff in, getting it together. And then also, as they were waiting and trying to figure out, what additional documentation they needed to submit as they were being considered for the grant, we were able to support them through that and through our contacts with the Lindustry company. So we, through the whole process, we're available. And then we realized how many people were not eligible, and our impact reports coming out in the next month or so. And we highlight, the theme of that report is filling in the gaps, because we didn't want to turn anyone away. We still supported you with any way that we could with finding other grants. And just sometimes it's just even a space to kind of just talk about what's going on and bounce some ideas off of someone else. And that's a neutral space, that's not kind of some folks, maybe have a hard time talking to other folks about problems going on in their business, and so one feedback I have heard is that, like, it's just great to have a space to talk about what is going on. And like I said, so they don't necessarily have a team, a lot of business owners don't. So really, we want to build on this impact from 2021 and really take it to the next level in 2022. So let's see here, just a couple of stories here I wanted to share. And let me just check it. Okay. The program is open to everyone, just to answer a quick question there. All businesses, all industries, all stages. So just a quick example here, Cocina del Corazon. I love them. They're just like, I just love their business. They're a second generation family owned business. Enrique, his parents, they own the taco truck on International and I think 22nd Street. And he wanted to take the business to the next level. And they had a great social mission for food disparities in East Oakland. And yeah, I met them a few months before the pandemic started, and I sent them a whole roadmap of resources and whatnot, and then checked back in with them, and they were already very well connected with resources. And so I was like, okay, well, here's a few that I haven't, it seems like you haven't tapped into, and checked in with them at the start of the pandemic, and they were kind of overwhelmed, dealing with so much. And I said, hey, have you guys talked to Mandela Partners yet? Oh, we haven't yet. Okay, thanks for the reminder. We're gonna get on that. Next time I talked to them, man, they were set for the pandemic. Mandela Partners got them in partnership with World Kitchen. They were cooking food for all the families in need in East Oakland, and it was such a fit for their mission. I also connected them with Ari Takata Vasquez, and she's got so many connections on the studio front, the marketing front. She's a trainer, a teacher, a business owner herself. She's got so many connections within city government. And so this is why they wrote this quote. They're like, this is just just took us to the next level. It was just someone that was just saying, we support you. And hey, have you done this yet? And keeping them on track. And so we've been excited and thrilled to continue working with them as they evolve their business, and to continue to go after their mission. Delaine's natural nail care. So Delaine, we've worked with Delaine for years now. And that's why I love to say that, it doesn't really end. There's no program ending date. We met Delaine at a Mills conference, and she was like, I know there's resources out there, but I don't know what they are. So we sat down with her, did the roadmap, kind of helped her keep track of what she was wanting to do and apply for. And then, she was a part of our conference. She was a featured entrepreneur in our conference, and, just was able to tap into that network. And then, COVID hit. I hadn't heard from her in a little bit, and I just was seeing her online and on Instagram, and was seeing that, some of the challenges she was having. And I got a couple of different emails on some really great opportunities for, zero interest loans. And I was like, hey, Delaine, this might be a great fit for you. And she's jumped on that right away, and it stabilized her business. She was able to hire back folks that she, had to basically let go because of COVID. And so, yeah, she just got even, reconnected again, and became into a deeper level of communication. She had already started her California Relief Grant process at that point, but she referred so many people to me, family members and cousins and neighbors, everyone else who needed support with the California Relief Grant. And, in crisis mode, she's been able to reach out, and we've been able to help connect her. And sometimes it's just some resources she's already aware of, but she just doesn't know wait, what was the name of that thing again? Or yeah, just being able to be like, oh, we got you, we'll connect you right away. And so it's just been a great uh, experience being a part of her business. And I forgot to mention also that she's also has a social mission, and she works with she has a kind of like a training academy for single moms to help them learn how to start their own nail businesses. And she also has a nonprofit where she works with seniors to support them with their, self-care and whatnot. So this is a great business. Okay, so getting into the tools. Okay, let's see. The tools, the Good Money Guide. So this is something that we were able to take on from another local organization, and it's a great resource that we were like, there's no way that we're not letting this get published. So we wanted to take this on and really continue and take it to the next level. This is the 2020 Good Money Guide, and we're working on the 2022 guide right now. So in a couple of months, we'll have that released. But the Good Money Guide features a list of local community funders, and it helps distinguish between the different types of funding. So it offers expert tips and some features on some local small businesses. And the community funders on the list meet one or more of the following requirements. They're locally based and committed to local investment. They adhere to social or environmental missions, and they enable regular people to invest in their community, and they avoid investing in harmful or extractive products and activities. They avoid unfair or misleading practices or pricing. So this is the list that you want to go for, because like I said, it's just like you get overwhelmed. You're like, who can I trust? Who are the good people in this space? So it breaks down all the different types of funding: the impact investing, angel funding or funds, crowdfunding, investment, reward, donations, and peer-to-peer platforms. That's like Kiva, and loans. And just in this little snapshot here, you can see working solutions on One Way Project. Those are two that we work with quite a bit, because they work with startups, and we do have quite a bit of folks who are early stage in their business. Yeah, so just getting a sense of like what to look for in a lender is important, and we have utilized this tool in our sessions to help with that. And this tool is on our website, and if someone can drop link in the chat as well would be helpful. One of my teammates can drop the link in the chat there, and take a look at it, and you might see something that you're interested in pursuing or knowing something more about. And in our sessions, we can talk through it, and I can do some of the, or some of our other navigators can do some of the research and legwork that's needed to determine if you're the best fit for it, so that you're not doing all that work back and forth, emailing and setting up meetings and whatnot. Is this like, okay, we've talked to them, we know what they're looking for. Okay, you need to get these 3 documents together. And when we send you a warm introduction, you're already set. There's not a lot of back and forth. So that's really what we can support folks with the capital navigation process. So yeah, if you don't know where to start, you're overwhelmed, get started with us. This is our QR code here to the intake form. I think we dropped it in the chat. And let's see, I can start taking some questions here.
All right, Melanie, thank you so much for your presentation. Just to leave off where you mentioned the intake form, is that the way that you guys upload new clientele?
Yeah, so I do want to say that I know in a lot of folks get overwhelmed with so many forms and things as well. So, if we can drop my email in there, and also Alex's email, we have services in Spanish. I did forget to write that on the slide there. We have services in Spanish. And You can always just email us as well. If you're just feeling like, I just need help, email us, text us. You can put my phone number in there, and we'll get you started with a time scheduled, and we can always follow up and get some additional information about your business. But we do eventually want to get that information about kind of the background of your business and the demographics, because it helps with finding you resources, and it helps us support our work as well.
So if I'm, entrepreneur number A, or letter A, I should say, I email you and then I set up a meeting with you. And then what does that meeting really entail? Are you asking me, where am I in the business cycle? Like, what does that process really look like for an entrepreneur?
Yeah, we really want to get to know you as a business owner. Like, why did you start this business? I mean, we want to get into that passion with you. And a lot of folks we work with do have a social mission. That's definitely not required because it's be passionate about food and you love to cook or whatever it is. That we want to know what motivates you, what got you into this thing, and what you've tapped into already. What resources have you already tried and looked into? What lenders have you already worked with, and maybe it didn't work out so great, or maybe you had a great experience, but you feel like you need something different. So we want to just kind of hear the whole story, the whole background, and we want to know how much time you actually have available to work on your business, because that is a piece of this too. Like, you have your 6-month goals, and it's like, well, I want to take over the world, and something is like, okay, well, it's 6 months. And you were working full time. What's realistic? So we kind of really get a sense of what's feasible in the 6 months time period. So once we have a good sense of the background, what your goals are for 6 months, talk about your availability. Are you looking for something that's online? Are you going to travel? Are you going to, and just get a sense of, are you in this, are you in a space where you want to do a bunch of homework? Do you have the capacity to do that? And then that helps us find the right resources and matches for you. And then we kind of come up with our plan, and then we automatically go ahead and schedule our rest of our check-ins based on how you want to meet, how frequently you want to meet. And then, then we go from there, and then kind of see how things are going. We do our research, send you the roadmap within about 7 days. And it's just a living document. So as we find more resources, as you find notes or things or information, you can put that information in there. And so that's generally the overall process. Now, if you're trying to become capital ready, I put on a different hat. It's like, okay, we have a checklist that we need to work through, and so that becomes a little bit more of an intense process, but it goes at your pace, whatever you're ready to do.
Great, thank you. And I know that you mentioned that you work with businesses of all ages. So if that means I just have an idea, I just opened up a business, I kind of need support. I've been in business for 5 or 6 years, or I'm a legacy business, right? I've been there for over 20 years. Can you really speak to the different industries? Is it more service industries? I know that you work with all, but what do you tend to really work with?
Yeah, we tend to really work with food-based, service, and I would just say we've definitely had the most resources around food businesses, but we accept all industries. And I think I have a couple of client profiles too here to share, and I think they're actually food businesses as well. But yes, we're very, very open on what we can work with.
Great. Now you talked about the Good Money Guide. And as we know, we're moving away kind of from COVID, not that we're completely over with it, but we're moving away, and businesses are reopening, and they're kind of getting brick and mortar. I'm seeing a huge surge specifically in San Francisco with our entrepreneurship in regards to getting a brick and mortar and getting that access to capital, right? Can you speak about the different banks that may be focused on San Francisco-based businesses that you work with?
Yes, Working Solutions, I mean, as far as the CDFIs,
Mhm.
Working Solutions is one of our major partners, especially for those who are early stage. We do work with mostly early stage, and and I think it depends on also, we said brick and mortar space. You're probably looking for maybe a larger
Mhm.
um, loan than Working Solutions is kind of more the smaller end. So Pacific Community Ventures, they're larger, can go up to 200,000, I believe. And so it just depends on how much you're looking for, what you need to get started, to get your space and working capital.
Absolutely. Now, kind of staying on the subject of brick and mortar, a lot of our businesses may have online businesses, and right now they're thinking about moving to a brick and mortar. Can you talk about how you can help that development moving from an online platform and then pivoting to a storefront?
Yeah, there's quite a few resources out there right now with Main Street Launch, has a lot of zero interest opportunities for even for new restaurants right now. So what we actually have been doing is working with them, interviewing them, and understanding more about their process and what they're looking for in those candidates who will be eligible for that zero interest loan. I have one client that I'm working with now who's in the process looking at something in Oakland, because a lot of folks have done this sort of like cloud kitchen type of work where they've just been, just renting a kitchen space and doing DoorDash online. And now they're like, as things are opening up, they kind of want to get a little spot where people can sit and have their lunch and whatnot. So just working with those lenders like Main Street Launch and understanding what is it that they need and kind of doing sort of the legwork for them before making the introduction, and getting them through with Main Street Launch. And Main Street Launch also has other loans that they kind of assess what is the best fit for that entrepreneur. But we also help in kind of the front end, try to get and understand what is the best interest, like 0% interest. How can our clients get that? We want to advocate for our clients in that way.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I know that you guys work with businesses from all over the Bay Area counties. And I know personally that each county works differently in regards to opening a business. Can you talk about your experience specifically to San Francisco? Because as most of the people online, they're San Francisco based. Can you talk about that process and specifically the work that you have done in San Francisco with businesses or entrepreneurs from that area?
Yeah, we have a couple that we're working with right now who one are already in business, and are trying to maintain and open their business. And that one is one where we've been reached out to Main Street Launch. And the other one, I'm trying to think of what we specifically reached out to. I think they're more of an earlier stage right now. So it's kind of still, like I said, that 6-month roadmap of like figuring out really what your goals are, because folks sometimes are still a little confused as to what it is they want to do. Like, do I really want to, get into a brick and mortar space? And so it really comes down to kind of getting that sort of financial forecasting support and being able to make sense of like, is this going to really be feasible for me? Because you don't want to end up on the flip side of things, getting into a space that you're really not ready for. So, and San Francisco is a big commitment for brick and mortar space. So that's what we've been also just focusing on, is getting those tools down on supporting folks through that financial forecasting process and making sure that they're able to make the right decisions.
Great. Awesome. Is there any other questions in the chat? I know, Melanie, you went over them. Two of the questions: how do we sign up? She has that QR code. You can email her or Alex. This is an ongoing process. So in regards how long does this go on, it's kind of catered to what your needs are. Am I correct, Melanie?
Yes, it is. Like right now, we're just focused on kind of like 6-month time periods, and then you say check in at 6 months, say how was it? Are you reaching your goals? And some folks are like, okay, this is great. Just keep me posted. Maybe we'll meet every couple months or something. And some folks are like, yeah, I still need help the next 6 months here. Well, let's do another roadmap. Let's get involved. So you never leave us. You never leave us.
And I know that we talked a lot about startups, but can you talk about your history in regards to businesses that may be in business for over 5 years, and what does that look like? Because I know that's a different set of needs than someone that's in the startup stage or the idea stage. How do you really help the entrepreneurs that may know the resource, already have a solid business plan? How do you really help those 5+ businesses?
Yeah, legacy businesses I've noticed have been in sort of a couple of categories. Some of them more recently have been in, crisis mode. And so there's like some of the technology gap stuff around applying and getting on board with some of the relief funding. And then you have folks who are have an established business, but maybe some business went down because people aren't coming into the brick and mortar and whatnot, and so they've been really able to focus on pivoting to a product. And so actually one example I do have a quick picture of here is Talio's Coffee, and I know
San Francisco based in the Bayview.
yeah. Yeah, Talio's Coffee, Olton. Olton, I love Olton. He's just a great example of of the work that we do, because like when Olton reached out to us, he was he's already an established business, and he reached out because he had already applied for the California Relief Grant. He's like, what else can I apply for? Then at that time we're like, okay, just let's keep you posted. And I know ICA just came out with something, connected him to ICA. He did the lab program there and has been working on his ginger drink. And I know he's had that drink featured in ICA's holiday stores. I purchased it there, and just recently reconnected again. He was having some legal issues and was just saying, hey, I need some resources around legal support. And then as we were talking, he said, I want to really be able to get to the next level and get to the investment for my drink, my beverage. And so was just almost basically reminding him of his connection with ICA and just tapping into the folks there to help him with his pitch deck. And so it's just been great. We have now monthly meetings, just continue to check in and support him through kind of just navigating a new line in his business.
Yes, and he's actually a member. So I know a little bit, or I should say a lot about his business. So that's great to see. I'm going to open it up for any last minute questions if anybody has any. If not, I just want to thank you, Melanie, and thank you to Alliance for Community Development for coming on today and really sharing with us what you do best. So thank you, Melanie, and thank you to the Alliance.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. And I'd love to share more about folks if people want to hear more about just the work that we do, how we've supported folks. So definitely feel free to reach out.
And Melanie, Small Business Week is coming up, which I will speak a little bit more about. But can you talk about your guys' workshop that you're doing for small business?
Yeah, Thriving in the City, and just talking about, well, why did you stay in San Francisco? What are some of the challenges that our businesses are facing with staying in San Francisco, and why to stay? So this is going to be like a 1 hour time and kind of being able to discuss some of the nuances of even just working with city government and just being able to encourage each other too. It's tough. It's tough out there. So that's going to be on May 5th, 12 to 1 at Manny's Community Space. So I'd love to see you all out there and join us.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Melanie. And I just wanted to give a thank you to our sponsor again, Red Credit Union. Right. So May 2nd through the 6th, we have Small Business Week, which is so exciting because it's the first live Small Business Week in 2 years. So please come out and support. We have our opening event, which is May 2nd at the East Cut Crossing in Soma District, which will be from 5 to 7:30. And then we have our closing event, May 6th, which is 5:30 to 8:30 at the Pearl, which is in Mission Bay. So please register. This is a great opportunity for networking and to really learn the different resources out there to support your business in San Francisco. Then we have May 18th, our City Beat Breakfast, which is a great opportunity to learn really what San Francisco is doing, what the chamber is doing, and the mayor will be talking. So great opportunity to meet your community leaders and as well as look and see what's happening in San Francisco. So thank you, everyone, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.